Hello, my name is Jessie Huggett, and I have Down syndrome, and I am a accompanying dancer in propeller dance.
Hi, I'm Rachel Gray. I have dyslexia, and I'm a visual artist.
Rachel and I met in elementary school,
In a special education class.
and we've been best friends ever since.
We are going to take you through some of the history of eugenics in Ontario, a history that is very painful and often hidden.
Sharing this history is important because people with disabilities need to have their voices heard. Let's get started.
All of us grew up with stories about where we come from. I remember hearing Jessie's story from her parents.
The doctor said to me, "This is not a well baby. This baby has Down syndrome."
But of course, you were perfectly well.
People asked us, "Are you going to keep her?"
That was a very common question.
Some things you black out because they're too painful to remember. Nobody sent flowers. Every other mother's room was filled with flowers. People didn't know how to react. They froze.
In this story, the doctor sees Down syndrome as a problem and suggests that Jessie be taken away. In my grade 9 science class, my teacher led a discussion about whether people labeled with developmental disabilities could lead full, meaningful lives. Is it right to bring someone into the world knowing that their life is going to be so difficult?
Is it worth it
to bring someone into a life that's just going to be painful? Isn't it the kinder thing to do? It was like they were talking about ideas and not lives.
That is wrong. We are not an idea.
Why did my teacher think this conversation was okay? Why did no one, not my textbook or my teacher or the other kids, think to ask someone with a disability about their own experience? Stories like these are so common because they are linked to deep histories of violence in Canada.
They are connected to a movement called eugenics. Eugenicists believed they could solve social problems and make the human race better by preventing some kinds of people from being born and allowing some kinds of people to die. They believed that white, able-bodied people were better than everybody else. Canadian eugenists did not want First Nations, disabled, Black and poor people to have a place in the future. They did not see them as fully human.
Eugenicists tried to take the vast diversity of human experience and flatten it into one line. What they wanted was a future that was white and able-bodied. A lot of people believed in eugenics. These ideas were taught in schools. Eugenicists were politicians, teachers, doctors, nurses, business people, artists, and scientists. These ideas were used to put First Nations, disabled, Black, poor, and racialized people into institutions.
These places were like prisons. The people inside them could not leave.
They did this to try to contain and destroy their difference. The eugenicists were focused on destroying disabled people's ability to have children. The eugenicists thought by doing this, they could keep them out of the future. They tried to stop people with disabilities from having relationships and force them to have surgeries to take away their ability to have kids.
50,000 Ontarians with developmental disabilities were placed in institutions between 1876 and 2009.
There are many survivors of these institutions living in our communities.
We are all shaped by these histories in different and uneven ways. People with intellectual disabilities were harmed in institutions, and people were really hard on us. And that's not okay. We have a right, not a privilege. We are not a mistake. We are human and we are proud.
Let's go back to where we started, to the birth of this beautiful baby in the year 1990. Instead of saying congratulations, this doctor says, I'm sorry. She says this because she sees disability as a problem.
The legacy of eugenics was a lot of individuals grade 9 classroom. In a teacher and children who did not believe people with disabilities could lead full lives. But eugenics did not work.
The eugenicists believed the future was narrowing, but today disabled people are building a future that grows wider and wider.
We're not a problem. We are who we are, and there's nothing and no one who can tear us down. Disability pride thrives in us. It shows who we are. People who have disabilities are proud to know who they are. We are loving. We have wonderful, long-lasting relationships. And we can have children. We are not ideas. We are equals. We are valued in society and in the community. We do not need to be contained. We need communication and a pivotal experience in society and in the community. We are beautiful the way we are.